And a roll call, Mr. Bierman?
Here.
Mr. Camerata?
Here.
Ms. Grover?
Here.
Ms. Hockman? Here. And Mr. Carley?
Yeah, here.
Thank you, Mayor. Next on the agenda, we have the open public meeting statement. I'll read that aloud. In compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, notice of this meeting was given by way of annual notice filed with the Township Clerk, the Home News Tribune, the North South Brunswick Sentinel, and the Trenton Times, and posted on the bulletin board in the South Brunswick Municipal Building on January 11th, 2024. Here, next on the agenda, we have the public portion. Is there a motion to open to the public?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? Please come on up to the podium and state your name for the record.
My name is John O'Sullivan, 33 Wexford Drive, Monmouth Junction, New Jersey. Okay, I had 3 questions for you. Would you please explain to the South Brunswick citizens how you came up with this 1,500 units for the affordable housing? When was this vote held to do it? And what recourse do the citizens of South Brunswick have on your decision? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Sullivan. As Councilman Camerata and I can attest to, we have been up to our elbows in affordable housing since 2009, and we've had some success. What the settlement represents is a significant haircut on what the courts had decided. A very significant haircut. But our opposition decided that they were tired of dancing. The numbers were imposed upon us by the state, the Superior Court of New Jersey. Actually, more aggressive numbers. And in a only in New Jersey story, not-for-profit group, Fair Share Housing Group, has been given status by the legislature. They were given status during, I believe, the Kane administration once upon a time to determine what respective towns' fair share housing should be. Once upon a time, that led to Southridge and any number of projects in town. And as I said to Mr. Which one? To Haradansky. Mike Haradansky, a couple of months ago, we tread cautiously on development and the potential for overdevelopment, because even if you are an innocent actor, I'm not going to characterize myself as an innocent actor. I'm well too old for that. People say, that guy did that, even 20, 30 years later. And so we tread carefully. This will bring us to 2035. My expectation is that I will be in the grave by 2035. And it's a sustainable path for the town. It won't result in new schools being built. Traffic is something we already have and we have to deal with. Mike pointed it out accurately. But what we do with this agreement with Fair Share, and our friends in the development community are already appealing it because that's what they do. It allows us to focus development not on woodlands and farmlands, but on neglected properties, particularly along the Route 1 corridor. And so it gives us a degree, not total autonomy, but a degree of autonomy. And so we've done that legislatively for 15 years now, and it will bring us another 20 years into the future. It's the best we could do.
Right.
It's not perfect, but it's the best that we could do in context of the courts, legislative inactivity at the state level. the legislature has just been in a I can't hear you, I can't see you mode for a generation or two. It's been an abdication of responsibility by the legislature. So we have to deal with it. And how do we best deal with it? The course had suggested that we enter into a compromise that would have resulted in 9,000 housing units in town.
Additional.
Additional
Yep.
housing units in town because it's a percentage of. The math, 1,500 versus 9,000, not great, but better. And that's what we strive to do. I'm not going to tell you your life is going to be the best life in the history of lives because I'm sitting here, but I do the best I can. And that's
I know, I sat up there too when we were getting
Yes.
awards, as you remember.
And apparently, the Fair Share Housing group thinks we're peaches and tomatoes now. So,
And the only thing I will add,
Change.
the only thing I'll add to that, Mr. Sullivan, is that we made that over a 20-year period. We resolved this round 3, but we also impact our obligation for round 4.
Right.
So that was very critical and important to us all. We didn't want to finish round 3 and start fighting with round 4. So it was a 20-year settlement.
it doesn't bleed out forever.
Right.
It doesn't cost us lawyers. Lawyers, no offense, Mr. Van Zura, they cost money.
Right.
And we can, the town can get on with its life and start planning for the future.
Yes.
The one thing that I always say to people about South Brunswick is we're midway between Philadelphia and New York, almost precisely.
Crossroads.
And you can't stop change. You can try and shape it in a way that is beneficial to yourself, your neighbors, your children. That's what we try to do. But we'd be lying to ourselves if we said to ourselves we could stop change. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mayor.
Excuse me? The other question is, when was this vote held to do it? To make this decision?
It's a question for smarter.
Yes, sir. Get the money? Let's hear the answer.
I don't have the exact date of,
Not you, I'm looking at the lawyer. That's-
okay. He doesn't.
Huh?
Lawyers don't know anything.
Yeah, just billable hours. Oh,
No,
excuse
but
me.
Mr. Belak will know, and he'll get you that information.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
It was sometime in the recent past, probably in August or so.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's what I figured. I just wanted to get it on record. That's
yeah, and I would expect you were here at the meeting, because you're a vigilant citizen. But it's true.
Oh, I know it's true.
But which one? We'll get that, the precise
Okay.
date and
That was the last few
the
months.
minutes of the meeting to you.
Yeah, well, I just need to, and then the other part was, what requests do other citizens have on getting their opinion to you about, your vote and doing what you came up with?
All of our emails and phone numbers are there. We field 20 or so communications a day on any number of things. Town Hall, 732-329-4000. If you want to get Brian directly, it's extension 7301.
Remember, I was
sit in
up
that
there, I know what
office.
it's like, I know what it's like, and I know what's walking in and then calling them up and talking
Yeah,
to them.
Sure.
But
So-
most people, we gotta get this word out that this is what they can do and express their opinion. Because this has an effect, like you said, will have an effect on the characteristics of the township
sure.
for years to come and maybe generations.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Please state your name for the record.
Mike Haverdansky, from Heathcote section. So this was part of one of the township meetings? This came up for a vote in a township meeting? Because I don't recall it. And it doesn't mean it didn't happen. I don't get to all of them.
There's a general agreement that it hasn't been, it's not finalized until the
Okay.
court approves it, so it hasn't been signed
Okay.
yet.
All right, so-
There will be a little further,
And to me, at least, my little biased mind, it's both little and it's biased, the proof is in the pudding. All compromises, neither side is happy. But the people that throw rocks at the compromise, the people that are appealing the compromise are other members of the development community. Because
want in.
why wouldn't you want more and more and more?
Yeah, no, I
And so
saw.
we put a lid on it with this attempt. It ultimately ends up with Superior Court in New Brunswick, and then the appellate. And we've taken our appeals all the way
All the
up
way
to the
up to-
appellate
yep.
and the New Jersey State Supreme Court. If I had my way, and if Mr. Bierman, Mr. Camerata, Ms. Hockman, and Ms. Grover had their way, we wouldn't change a hair on the head of this town.
Yep.
It's not possible. And
So-
so we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, so, so there was an article today in NPR, right?
Yeah.
Big, long one.
got
And
this, I saw
so,
it.
yeah,
I
so
got a
that's
bunch
where
of
the
calls.
questions come from, right? So in that article, it said, you've also settled Phase 3, so,
It puts this potential
right, but Phase
agreement-
3 is settled in this.
3 and
too,
4.
Right?
3 and
So
4.
what happens then? So what is the final resolution of that Chalks Crossing, right? Because that was approved under protest, they started
And it's
taking all
under
the trees, so.
construction. So that's part of it. American Properties is part of the settlement. I think you're talking about Ridge Road.
Yeah, Ridge Road and Chalks
That
Crossing, yep.
ball is still bouncing around because not just the municipal government, but American Properties, the folks over at the Point of Turnberry,
Yep.
and the folks on Periwinkle have got the hair on the back of their necks raised, and they can avail themselves of lawyers, and they have. And so there's litigation that I am not a party to, or municipal government is not a party to, between the private entities. And
But
so
that is part-
something that is to be determined.
But that is part of this settlement, right? You've included that, because the article hinted that all of it sort of alluded to all of the Phase 3.
All the objectors.
All the objectors
all
are-
the
are-
objectors are
are-
part of that
Of
settlement.
round
Yeah,
3.
right, because if I remember correctly, there was some question as to what happens with the middle section, whether it's warehousing or housing, depending on how this goes.
Ridge, as Mr. Bidlack informs me, this settlement is silent on Ridge Road
Okay.
because there's a lot of variables relative to it.
Okay.
And my degree of math education only goes up to 2 variables,
Yeah, I'm
not
with you.
3 or 4 variables. And so municipal government has been working towards a felicitous end for the neighbors with the owners of Ridge Road, but that's yet to be determined. But meanwhile, the neighbors, both from Periwinkle, American Properties, and the Point of Turnberry, are being active players.
Okay.
And I encourage them to be active players. It's their property rights.
So we'll get to see this after the court approves it? It'll be out before?
Yeah.
And I guess because my third concern is the concern I've been having all along about, traffic and congestion on Route 1, but also just sort of looking at, you watch Montgomery, and they're building like a little town center around 206 and Route 18 with their fair share. You see Princeton putting it around Princeton Shopping Center, right? You see, North Brunswick's even doing it on Route 130 where they have shopping and entertainment, right? West Windsor's building it around the train station. All of that feels a lot more desirable than landlocked on Route 1 with nothing around you, right? So I'm concerned that all of these other towns are building better places for people to go. So I'm curious as to the plan for Phase 4. Is there retail? Is there, any kind of to compete with what the towns around us are
We
doing?
hope through redevelopment to revitalize the Route 1 corridor. It doesn't take a genius to drive up and down Route 1 and say, why is there an abandoned house on Route 1?
Yeah.
Why isn't there an abandoned Boy Scout headquarters on Route 1. Why is there that motel or this motel? We saw it last week with Sonesta. We want to change that. We're working with Red Roof Inn to change that. You hear the same complaints I hear.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're working with the property owners. It's the United States of America. People have property rights. So we're working with the property owners to try and move it towards something that is better for the town. That includes retail, commercial, restaurants.
All that.
We
in the
cannot
plan when we
control
see
the
it.
market.
Oh, I get that, but
So we've been encouraging people, we've been casting redevelopment agreements with people, and whether they get the funding, the financing, and the wherewithal to move on it, that's up to the private sector.
yeah. Yeah, it's just the fear, being if the other towns become more desirable, our property values go down.
One of the essential truths about South Brunswick is we will never have an arts district because New Brunswick has a state theater since 1920. Vincent has the McCarter Theater since
Yeah, sure.
1880. And so we're in between those two towns for arts and entertainment. And so it's a suburban town. How do you appeal to people in terms of retail and entertainment, in terms of restaurants?
Yeah, well,
And
East
we're trying
Brunswick's,
to work with the private sector.
but you see, East Brunswick's building a new ice skating rink, right? Ours is old. They
Ours
just
is privately
opened.
owned.
I know it is, but they just opened. Right, I just read an article about a whole bowling alley, entertainment center
We have
that they're
Bolero
opening.
up in North Brunswick.
I know, it's
Everything's
South
10 minutes
Brunswick.
away, but people want it to be within the corporate boundaries of the town.
Yeah.
If
No, like I
if
said.
I drive 2 minutes away, I have great restaurants. They happen to be on the wrong side of 27
Yeah.
in Franklin.
That's,
It's not an impediment to my
No.
enjoyment of life.
we don't get the tax revenue from that, right? My entertainment dollars leave town now, and they don't stay.
Mike, being on the E
Your
EDC,
tax picture compares favorably to West Windsor.
It does.
Franklin,
All true.
and
Just
those
Want
surrounding
to make sure the
towns.
balance stays, right? So,
I would like to have stuff in town that's happy and healthy. We get blamed for cannabis distribution. There's none in South.
no, there's none in South Brunswick. And I'm happy.
People blur the
I'm glad
lines,
to
et
see
cetera,
that.
et cetera. So it's, we're, looking at the shadows on the wall of a cave. We're doing the best we can.
And then
And
more.
we hear you and we understand, but we are reliant on the private sector. It's the United States of America. It's a capitalist system. We respect that. I don't want to be in charge of everything in terms of everyone's pocketbook. And so the other side of the ball, the people that come to us and say, can you help us? We help them as best we can. Whether they pull the trigger or not, that's up to them.
Right. And then lastly, totally on, so the resolutions that you vote on each week, the only way you can see the detail is to physically come here and read them off the bulletin board, I was told. Is there any way to get that stuff online so I don't gotta come here and read them on the bulletin board?
They're online.
Because I called, I didn't talk to you, but I called your office and they said, no, they're not online till they're passed. Prior to that, you have to read them on the bulletin board. So if they're online, if you could just let me know where, because I can't find them.
Yeah, I can give you a ring and just.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, right in the meeting schedule, there's hyperlinks to everything.
Oh, there is? Because it just seemed like that's a PDF.
No, there's two
it
links.
depends how you're accessing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing it off the
You go on
website.
if you go on the date, I believe, and you open it up, it goes
Oh.
into the hyperlinks.
Well, see, that's what I needed to know.
We all live and we learn.
Because to me, it's a PDF. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Come on up, please.
My name is John Delgado. I'm at 4 Frida Lane. My concern and my neighbor's concern that are behind me, one morning we woke up and found a car dealership across the street at the Willows.
I got you.
They did that entire parking lot in one night.
Yep.
It is not zoned.
You are 100% correct, and we, the town hall, Ms. Roundtree, our zoning officer, received your concerns and issued them a notice of cease and desist. There is a time within which they have to cease and desist, and then if they do not, there will be court action. And so Ms. Roundtree is cognizant of it. She's acted on it. They have a time frame under the law, and so we're acting on it.
Okay. I mean, I know that the Willows are getting a certain amount per month,
All understood,
but again, it's still our neighborhood, and that's why most of us
correct.
moved
You
there.
don't want an automobile showroom. in your
Exactly.
neighborhood.
And the traffic is getting worse because there's so many salesmen driving people there, and they're,
All understood, and a municipal government, Ms. Roundtree, you can
Okay.
call her, she's on the web.
okay.
She has acted on it, and she has sent them a cease and desist order, and they have X amount of days to act on it. If they don't, then she will give them a violation, and we will end up in municipal court.
But nothing can be moved until,
I do not have an armored division at my disposal.
because, I mean, that's where the police hide, which is wonderful.
And
Even
they're
for
a
the
little
speeders
annoyed
on-
about it
on-
because they can't hide anymore.
Exactly.
Correct. And again, they're there at night, and then there's other things going on behind the cars. It's just a mess.
It's not happy, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
We're acting on it within the confines of the law. I would encourage you to contact Ms. Roundtree,
Okay.
and she'll give you the fine details on it.
Would it help if we did a petition, or not? That's not necessary?
No, we already heard from you. I think we got our little delicate behindies bid on by dozens and dozens of people.
Okay.
So we hear you loud and clear. We've acted on it, but there's a legal process.
I understand.
And so I would expect that in the near future, that'll be mitigated.
All right, because we just don't want that to destroy our home
I
value,
hear you.
because we still have a wonderful neighborhood, we want to keep it that way.
I would expect, what are those little floppy
This?
balloons that are in front of car dealerships? I don't think you want that in your front yard.
No.
I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Come on up. And please state your name for the record.
My name's Teresa Faltini. I live on Frida Lane as well. And I don't like coming here and talking. I've come a few times over the years. Like you say, 20, 30 years ago, I've been here talking. But I do want to say I appreciate that you are looking into this. But I do want to say, when it first happened, you say, you give the phone number for the township. I called the zoning person. I don't know if that's Ms. Roundtree.
It's Ms. Roundtree.
She told me she couldn't answer any questions, that I should talk to her boss. I
James
said, okay,
Campbell.
who's your boss? She said, the township manager. And again, this is like leaving messages. Hello. This is leaving messages, a few days later, me calling back. And
Thanks for letting us know that.
Yeah, we
but
apologize.
then you told me to call the planning,
Planning director.
and he was very helpful. But between that time, I had called the mayor's office and left a message. So from our side, like that took like 2 weeks.
I have my,
I'm not putting you on the spot.
no,
but I just want you to know,
I'm never
when
put
you
on
say
the spot.
call the township, it's not as easy as
listen,
it sounds.
if you get run into a blind alley, as it were, everyone's cell phone is on the internet, including mine, this thing.
How do I don't
It's on
recall
the-
seeing it. It's right on there?
It's on sbtnj.net, how to contact
Okay.
us. We try to be accessible, because.
I mean, I prefer not to do that.
Oh, no.
But
it's
it
all
did
right.
take
You can
a
shoot
long
us
time.
a text, there's any number of ways you can shoot us an email.
Okay.
There's any number of ways to communicate. I think all of us understand that we work for you.
Okay. It didn't feel that way.
All
For the
understood.
2 weeks that
but
I was
you
trying to
can-
get in touch
you
with
can
people.
always feel free to contact
thank you.
us
I appreciate you
directly,
letting me know that.
Or Mr. Bidlack.
Okay.
We
Well,
don't get
you kinda
offended,
told me
we're
to call
not
somebody else.
delicate little
I ju-
flowers.
Right?
No, I clarified to get the details of
Okay.
when the
All
notice
right.
was sent
Okay.
out.
But
didn't
still,
have-
it was another few days to get through to that person. But anyway, I just appreciate your time. I appreciate the public portion. I appreciate these people coming because I did hear about South Brunswick on NPR this morning when I was driving. So I am interested in finding that information out.
Now, you know what my takeaway from tonight is?
But
Mike Haverdansky is an NPR listening to liberal.
well, I just appreciate it.
I read the article.
I appreciate your time as well. And now I know I have your cell phone numbers. I would not abuse that.
That's
but
all right. It's
thank
your
you for
right
letting me
as
know
a
that.
citizen.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public? Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be short. My name is Chris Carbo, and I'm the library director on Kingston Lane. Just here on behalf of the Library Board of Trustees to thank you for your anticipated support for Ordinance 24-27 that was introduced last week and on the agenda tonight for final approval. And that would be to amend the library construction project bonding. We greatly appreciate the council's commitment to this project, and we regret that the project has run into some unanticipated issues with the site that have caused delays and some necessary change orders. Also on tonight's agenda is change order number 7 to replace several existing windows that were found to be leaking once the walls were opened up. So we just wanted to share that the trustees and the Library Foundation wish to further help out with this project where they can and ensure that the contingency funds that are available are adequate for the duration of the project. So therefore, the foundation has committed to providing $25,000 towards change order number 7, and the trustees will make up the balance of approximately $11,000 so that there would be no net cost to the township's construction budget for that change order.
You know what, Chris? I want to stop you there.
Okay.
Have the foundation keep their powder dry. We have a hard cap of 20% under the local public contracts law.
Okay.
So as long as we don't bump our head into that, as I understand it, the foundation has committed to raising money for programs and et cetera, within that public building. It's a public building. It's
Yeah.
a free public library. Have them keep their powder dry for a piece now.
Right.
If it blows through the 20%, then we'll have to have a serious conversation.
Okay. All right, well, we appreciate that, but if there's anything that they can do to assist, they're willing and able and helpful.
They are.
All right.
And, it's one thing to build the space, it's another thing to fill the space.
Yes.
And so, Councilwoman Hockman wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, we appreciate that, and our Friends Group also will work with, they help sponsor some of the programming also, a lot of the programming.
Yes.
But, all right, well, we will wait to hear from you and how we can be of help, but we just, again, wanted to thank you for your support and continued support for the project, and we look forward to opening the expanded facility and all of our increased services and opportunities for the public sometime in the middle of 2025.
Just get the project moving along, get it
We
open.
hope so, yes.
Yeah, what are you looking at in terms of
Completion?
of it being done?
The full expansion roughly July of 2025, but the interior renovated areas, hopefully by the end of the year, will reopen.
Okay.
All right.
So we will keep you posted.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, July of 2025, that's the week after the 4th of July.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
We'll hold you to it.
I hope so.
All right.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thanks for
Have a good
coming,
night.
Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Come up. Please state your name for the record.
Good evening, I'm Thiru Sivasubramanian from 2 Frida Lane. I'm here with my friends. First, thanks a lot. It's great to know that you're already going to take action on the parking lot. I did hear that there is going to be X number of days before which you can take some legal action. I'm new to this. How many days are we talking about before?
I don't know the particular days, and I would refer you to Ms. Roundtree,
Okay.
the zoning officer. And she's on the internet, her extension. Give her a holler. It's my understanding that she already did issue the first letter saying you have so many days to cease and desist.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew the particulars,
Sure.
I'd be doing too much of my job. And that's not good. So touch base with Ms. Roundtree, and she'll be able to tell you the specifics, because that's her job. That's why you pay her.
Okay, we'll call her. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Please state your name for the record.
Okay. My name is Bob Kelly. I lived at 171 Sand Hill Road. Mr. Mayor and the Township Council, I just need a little bit of help from you for the traffic on Sand Hill Road. It's getting unbelievable anymore. It's backed up way past my house at night. I don't know if it's because of Henderson Road being closed, if that there takes a lot of the traffic up. But I built my house in '96, and since then the traffic is probably 100 times more today. The road is windy, hilly, and there's a lot of hidden driveways, and people have a hard time getting out. A few years back, we asked that reduce the speed limit on the upper end of Sand Hill Road to 25 miles an hour, which you did, and it passed, and I want to thank you so much for it. But the traffic is really bad, and they're speeding all the time. We need some help to slow this traffic down.
Yeah.
I had a suggestion. I thought that if we put 2 electric speed limit signs up on Sand Hill Road on the upper end.
Like in front of St. A's?
Beg your pardon?
In front of St. Augustine's, right?
No, it's the Sand Hill.
We the Baptist church or
That's
something.
it, that back.
I know, but I'm saying like in front of
Oh,
St.
like.
Yeah, similar
I didn't hear
to
the
that.
word like.
So
Yeah, okay.
the people are aware, because sometimes they're not aware that they're even
Yeah, you
speeding.
float
They just
down the
go.
highway.
But if you have these electronic signs up there, I think it would help a lot to slow them down. And that's a suggestion I have. The other thing is the trucks on Sand Hill Road are unbelievable anymore. I know that the township, I think somebody said that they were putting in for a 4-ton road. But the state drags their feet, that could be for a while. But anything over 36 ton, it's on each end of the road, it says no trucks over 36 ton. And we have tractor and trailers, tri-axle dump trucks, all day long going up and down the road. And nobody stops them or says anything.
Yeah, Brian and I were driving around town a couple of days ago, and we have weight restrictions on George's Road. It's, it's inexorable. You'll see tractor trailers here, there, and everywhere. It really has to rely on communication with the police department to do focus patrols.
Do the police department know what to pull over when a truck?
Yeah, but it's a big
I would
old
hope
truck,
they
you
do.
gotta pull it over.
I mean,
That's a
when you see
local road. That's
tandem
Sand Hills is
tractor
not
trailers
county.
coming down, you know they're 80,000 pounds.
It's very difficult to get weight restrictions on county roads. It's impossible on state roads, but on local roads, we can weight restrict it.
Oh, ours is a local road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will weight restrict it. And Mr. Bidlack will communicate with Chief Hayduka to put focus patrols. The folks across the street from you are police people, right?
Yeah, I mean, the police are there, but I didn't never see them pulling over tractor and trailers or tandems or anything coming up and down the road.
Well, they should be.
They should be, and that would definitely, once the word is out, they'll stop driving on it.
Well, with something else we could do, and with the chief, the mayor's correct, to communicate with the chief, but Lieutenant Holston really has some good ideas, maybe some traffic calming. Maybe we could do some traffic calming techniques on that road also to slow down traffic. But if they could do an analysis of it and come back with a report to what what could possibly be done.
I'll have those discussions with
thank you,
with
Mr.
Chief
Goodman.
Hayduka and Traffic Safety.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing I have, and I hate to be bothering you.
You never bother us.
The walking path along Sand Hill Road, that was put in like 40 years ago. And when we put the petition in from Sand Hill Road to reduce the speed limit, we included that in it. If we could get it repaired or repaved, because
We
it's in
had
horrible shape.
Public Works at the time.
Yes, we did.
If Mr. Bidlack, you can talk
That's
to
the easy stuff.
Mr. Olson from Public Works to get them to put a little lipstick on that. That'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, I thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Slow moving.
Take your time.
Join the club.
John Delgado for Frida. Just adding on to what this gentleman said, I know I'm a real estate agent and I've worked, I drive all the streets. A lot of the streets now having the speed bumps put in.
We went down that path. Our first aid people were not enthusiastic because if they have someone in the back of the box and say they're doing something crazy like chest compressions, the speed bumps are not felicitous to that. We can revisit that with the first aid squads to see if they've changed their minds. Joseph and I and Josephine and Ann and Ken have been up here for a piece such that we have had this dialogue with the first aid and emergency service people. And John probably remembers. They don't want to go over the bumps when they're doing their count.
I understand that, but other towns do have it.
They
And
do.
what I'm tired of in the morning is the police from, say, 5 to 7 a.m. with the speeders on Sand Hill Road, they wake us up. So, yeah. So there's got to be something that can be done. But I didn't even think of that point.
Yeah. The Sand Hills Road has been a conundrum for a long time. As Commander Kelly said, what you're seeing now probably has something to do with Henderson Road being closed off because traffic always it's like water, it always seeks a path.
Good analogy.
So some of the traffic is shifted over to Beekman Road, more of it to Sand Hills Road. But also, as Franklin has developed, Franklin in its wisdom cut off Beekman Road. Beekman Road used to go straight through
Right.
by the CVS. That was cut off. So Middle Bush becomes Sand Hills. And so you'll have east to west traffic, mostly from Franklin, that shoots through there. And yesterday I was coming from Town Hall going home, and I have to do that because Henderson Road's not available. And the commander was right. It backed up well. It was up to Hawthorne almost.
Oh,
Coming
it goes
up.
past that.
And so, you know, it's observable. The other thing that happened was the DOT changed the phasing on Route 1 main line. State DOT is more concerned about flow of traffic on Route 1.
Right.
And so they increased it by a minute. And you'd say, a minute, who cares? But if you deduct a minute from Major Road and Sand Hills Road, everything multiplies. And so work with Mr. Bedlack through the police traffic safety as Mr. Camerata suggests, and we'll do the best we can.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public? Come on up. Please state your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Sujata Raj. I'm from 22 Kimberley Court, Monmouth Junction. So I don't have any thing to talk about, but I'm running for Board of Education, so I just came to introduce myself and request your vote, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're a medical doctor, right?
Sorry? Yes.
I
I was.
heard about you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. It's good to have people in high education run for office.
Well, I hope it makes up, you know, I think other people are running, they have a lot of experience, so.
As our French cousins say, bon chance, bon courage.
Merci.
Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Yes, thank you. John O'Sullivan, I take umbrage with the mayor on his last statement that it's, you know, it's good to have people with higher education, doctors. Remember, the Constitution doesn't have educational requirements for people to run for office. I know you expressed your opinion, and the same thing too, going for the Supreme Court. You don't have to be a lawyer, okay? So I had to express my umbrage. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Seeing none, motion to close the public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Mayor, next on the agenda, there are no discussions, so we can move along then to the manager's report. Mr. Bidlack?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. On Saturday, October 5th.
Is this something we said? Sorry.
Have a good night.
Good night.
And thanks for coming out.
Hey, how you doing? didn't even see him back there.
I didn't need it
It's all
till I...
soccer, yeah.
I know he
All
was-
soccer.
He's a little soccer.
Okay, he's all soccer. Right. He went
This Saturday, October 5th, the township will be holding a Veterans Recognition Street naming in honor of World War II Army veteran Albert DeMotor. This will take place at Tyndall and Wheeler Roads in Kendall Park, and that event is at 11 o'clock this Saturday, October 5th. Also on Saturday, October 5th,
If I may,
go ahead.
Commander Kelly, you and the folks in the VFW going to be there?
You should be there, I'll double check.
Okay. Someone has to be the master of ceremonies, right?
I did it last time.
Right, there you go.
You were deputized.
Tyndall and Wheeler.
Oh, okay.
It's all good, so.
Yeah, someone's got to run the show.
Left side of New Road.
Tyndall and Wheeler.
Also on Saturday, October 5th, the Kingston Volunteer Fire Company Number 1 will hold an open house
That's right.
for their 100th anniversary at their location at Heathcote in Kingston. And that event is being held from 12 to 5 p.m.
And then Sunday.
This Saturday, October 5th. On Monday, October 14th, the town municipal offices will be closed in observance of Columbus/Indigenous Day. There will be, on that day, there will be no interruption for garbage and recycling collection. So garbage and recycling will be collected on that day. Let's see here. Yesterday, the township held our bond sale, and bond counsel has informed us that we have to read a statement at tonight's township council meeting on that bond sale. And I'm just going to have Barbara read into the record the statement.
Thank you, Mr. Bidlack. So yes, this is a report of the Chief Financial Officer of the Township as to the award of notes. In accordance with the provisions of the local bond law, NJSA 48:2-1 et sec, relating to the sale of bond anticipation notes, Series 2024A, I hereby report to the Township Council the result of the sale of bond anticipation notes, Series 2024A of the Township of South Brunswick and the County of Middlesex, New Jersey. The notes. I received bids for the purchase of the notes on October 1, 2024, and awarded the notes on October 1, 2024, and hereby report to the Township Council as follows. Principal amount of notes, $21,286,747. Interest rate per annum, 4%. Date of maturity, October 21st, 2025. Purchase price received, $21,501,104.54. And name of purchaser is Jeffries LLC. Again, this is on behalf of Ms. Revichek.
4%?
4%.
That's in my book, that's pretty good.
That is.
Actually,
Can you give me the bank? I'm
I
gonna
was,
call them.
I was told by our financial advisors that that's the best rate they've seen in quite a while.
I'm
believe
shocked,
it.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, that's
We
great.
did well.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
That's all in time, right?
Samantha for doing that, getting that done.
That's all I have this evening, Mayor.
People know stuff more than I know. We're getting money lower than Treasury.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Mayor, we can move on then to the consent agenda. And we have 2 items on the consent agenda. If there's no objection, we'll move them forward for action to the next regular meeting.
Works for me.
Second.
Okay, great.
Oh, there's no need to.
Before we do the items for action, we do have one revised item. If we can just have a motion to add the revised item, it's
Number 7.
Resolution B4, recognizing Albert Dometer for his service to our country. There was just some minor wording changes. There a motion to add the revised version?
Sure, makes sense. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ms. Grover, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Mayor, next then we'll move on to the items for action. We have ordinances for second reading. There are 4 here tonight, and they're also here for a public hearing. The first one is ordinance number 2024-20. This is a bond ordinance amending a bond ordinance finally adopted on July 17th, 2024 by the Township of South Brunswick and the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, in order to provide for a change in the improvements authorized by such ordinance. Is there a motion to open to the public on ordinance number 2024-20?
Motion to open to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance number 2024-20?
Seeing none, motion to close the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion then to finally adopt ordinance number 2024-20?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And a roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, we have an ordinance which was introduced. We already had a public hearing on this one. This is ordinance number 2024-21. It's amending and supplementing Chapter 62, Land Use, Article 4, Zoning, Division 3, Districts, Subdivision 29 OC, which is Office Corporate District.
Outlaws.
This ordinance was previously, the public hearing was continued, and it was tabled to this meeting for further action for final adoption. However, we're still awaiting information from the planning board. So at this time, I would ask that we make a motion to continue the public hearing to November 6th, and also table this ordinance for the continuation and for final adoption to November 6th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And a roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Thank you. The next ordinance for public hearing and final adoption is number 2024-24. This is of the Township of South Brunswick in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing a special emergency appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-53 to fund contractually required severance liabilities. Is there a motion to open to the public on ordinance number 2024-24?
Motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance number 2024-24?
Seeing no public, motion to close the public portion.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion then to finally adopt ordinance number 2024-24?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And a roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The fourth ordinance here for second reading, public hearing and final adoption is number 2024-27. This is amending bond ordinance 2023-27, finally adopted on September 26, 2023 by the Township Council of the Township of South Brunswick in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, in order to provide for changes therein. Is there a motion to open to the public on ordinance number 2024-27?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance number 2024-27?
You want to say anything?
Thank you very much.
Motion to close the public section.
I'll second.
That's why we're...
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion then to finally adopt ordinance number
You should have said
2024-27?
something. No, motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Next items on for action are resolutions, and we have items number 1 through 11, with number 4 that we added the revised version. Is there any item anyone would like pulled?
Motion.
Just a clarification, Madam Clerk. Number 1, are we going to have a closed session tonight, or?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Just.
As far as
Motion to move all 11
Yep.
forward. To approve, I'm sorry, not moving forward, to approve.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Next on the agenda, we have the voucher list of
Yeah.
October 2nd, 2024. Is there a
Motion to pay the
motion?
bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
And a roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Affordable housing.
We're at that point now where we're going into the executive session. If we can have a joint motion to go into executive session and then to adjourn immediately thereafter.
Josephine, you're up.
Make a motion that we close the meeting. Goodbye, everyone. And then move into executive session. And we will be leaving afterwards.
Thank you.
Got that down.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second that, because that's a mouthful.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll say goodnight to everyone.
Good night, Chris.
Good night, Chris.
Everyone over there. I actually
Good night,
visited
Bob.
your